Oh gosh. All right. Hello. Um, my name is Austin Haig, and I'm trying to be a musician. Um, it's not exactly something that everybody says, and they're just like, "All right, you do it. Good luck." Everything. Everybody always has kind of hesitation, and they always kind of picture failure. But I'm giving it a shot. I really am. Um, this channel, as I'm talking to nobody as of today, is September 21st, 2023, and my only subscriber is my mom, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So, love you, Mom, because I know you'll probably watch this, um, as with all my videos and all my shows and everything. But yeah, it is pretty cool. I'm kind of glad I'm doing this. So I just wanted to post something. Um, one, so that when you look up my name on YouTube, something comes up, and not a picture of a baby or whatever. Um, but also because I kind of want to explain. Oh my gosh, I kind of want to explain. You know, what is all this about? What is the point of this? If anything, I think this would be pretty cool to look back in when I'm, you know, 80 or old, whatever old is at that time, and kind of watch it. I mean, we're such a advanced society right now that we have the capabilities to just be able to record parts of our lives seamlessly and just have them readily available and save them for years until, like I said, I'm sitting around, retired, doing nothing, which I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm always doing something. Um, but if that ever is me, I get to look back and try and relive these days of youthful ignorance more so. There's a lot of that in me. But with the music, what am I trying to do is music is something that makes me happy. I mean, and in the most broad sense, when I live my day to day life, and as I've grown up, and it's always been a huge part of it. My grandpa actually is the one that got me started even playing guitar, and I give all credit where credit is due to him for even getting me into playing guitar and realizing that it was kind of something that I didn't really suck at, and I could pick up kind of easy. Um, and he's been so far in my musical career one of my biggest supporters. I've had a ton of huge supporters. I'm so lucky and grateful for everybody that's been with me, and hopefully I can give them one hell of a ride to appreciate sticking around for. But he is truly just the person that I give all the credit to, because he, short of my parents, because they had me, but that's a given. It's like when somebody's like, "What'd you do today?" and you start it with like, "Oh, I woke up." Like, all right, cool. Um, but yeah, he got me into this. He got me started. He got me my first few chords. He taught me, and every time I'd go over and hang out at his house, um, we'd always little jam sessions, and we'd play. Spirit in the Sky is one of our favorites. And he'd always practice whatever music he had to play for his church praise team that week, and so I'd try and just work on it with him and practice along, and it was always fun, And then I'd go home and I'd play. I still have it over there. It's my dad's old guitar from college, and it's a miracle that the thing is even still alive. I mean, the stories he's told me about what it's been through. Whatever Fender did that year, more guitars need to be made out of whatever that is, like titanium, because that thing just took one hell of a beating many times, and is still. That was my first guitar. I mean, my first acoustic guitar that I could really play and practice on, and that was. I got my first calluses. I got my, it was. It's something special sitting in my room. I remember a lot of different days going home from school, and I would really have nothing else going on at the time, and I loved music. I mean, just music in general is a part of my life that is always going to be there. Listening to it, and then as I got older, trying to play it and write it and everything like that. Um, I'd come home beat from school or whatever. A little tough day in the 11-year-old life of Austin Haig, but it was. That's how it was. That's how I thought it was, at least at the time. I think everybody feels that way, but I'd learn. There would be songs I'd hear, and I'm like, man, I want to play that, and it didn't really click per se. Start to really pick up because I'd practice and learn, and I learned all the chords and everything that I could. And I had this little app. Everything I learned, guitar tabs app. There's a shameless plug. I will always stand by. That is how I learned how to play guitar, and that's pretty cool. I've never had any lessons, and I'm proud of that. I'm not ashamed to say I'm proud of that because it's kind of cool to be able to look back and say everything here I've kind of built up. And I say that as if I have created some just outstanding repertoire, and I've written 3 Grammy-winning songs and everything. But it's the little things in life, because that's a big lesson I've had to learn, is appreciating those little things and recognizing those little victories. But it's pretty cool. And so I would learn, and obviously, as you can see, Elvis. I have Elvis all around, Bruce Springsteen all around. I even have some Jim Morrison over there that you can't see. That's pretty cool. It's one of my favorites. But Elvis was a huge inspiration growing up, and I'd do the talent shows, and the Halloween I'd dress up as him, and I'd stand there like, you ain't nothing but a... I'd always mumble because I tried to make my voice as low as possible, and nobody could ever really hear me, and I probably wasn't any good at the time. But that was what I was always trying to play, was something Elvis. That was my whole childhood, oldies, that kind of stuff. It was really trying to get those songs, which is great because they're super simple, 4 chords or 3 chords, whatever. And it was really neat because I'd be able to play them, and so you had that sense of satisfaction in the fact that I just played a song. And so I set my bar really low with the oldies songs because they were so simple, and it was really cool to be able to hear your song and try and learn it. And I remember the feeling of playing a whole song for the first time through, and just nothing beat that for me, And I knew early on, I was like, this is something special. But then as I got older, I kind of put it on the back burner. I didn't really play as much as I could or probably should have. I got really into golf. Golf was my life for a while. Again, you can't really see it, but there's a poster up there from when my high school team, we won states in 2020. Well, they won states. I kind of was just along for the ride. It was a pretty cool ride, though. It was a fun time to be there. Yeah, just remembering that was a COVID year. I mean, everybody was all up in arms about us even playing, but it was a pretty sweet memory. But that was my life. What pretty much from 8th grade till, I don't know, I guess the end of my junior year. And that's kind of what I do. I get obsessed with things. I get my mind wrapped around an idea, and I just go. And that's kind of where I was lost at the end of my high school career, because I thought I was going to play golf in college and something was going to come out of it. I didn't know what, but I thought something was, and I didn't. I ended up not even trying to play golf in college, and I went and tried to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be an entrepreneur because whatever I wanted to do in my life, I didn't want to sit behind a desk. And I don't say that as a derogatory statement towards people that do that. I just say it as for me and my goals and my personality, what's going to make me happy and feel fulfilled is not really going to come from any situation where I go kind of clock in 9 to 5 type of your stereotypical what everyone says. And I think that's common for a lot of people nowadays. They're straying away from that. But I got it figured out that I wanted to be an entrepreneur at least. And so my last year, basically, I mean, I'm just a sophomore in college now, but last year, my freshman year in college, I spent the whole year trying to make money. I tried to really just everything I could. I tried to learn how to day trade. I tried getting into different investment clubs, different types of things that I could do. I'm a real estate agent right now, I guess, kind of on the side as a hobby. I was taking business. I still am taking business administration courses so I could have a broad degree and be an all well-rounded business person. That's what I wanted at the time. I got really into button-up shirts. I had a whole bunch of button-up shirts. I loved dressing up like, that was my thing for a while. And so it was all about making money. I was always working, paying my way through school. Debt-free so far, knock on wood. That's my goal. Um, that's a hefty goal. But yeah, that was me for most of last year. And then something kind of happened. I played out for the first time in an open mic. And remembered how much I loved it, and how happy it made me, and how at that point in my life I was struggling to find that kind of happiness anywhere else. So that in itself was a big deal. And then I played out a few more times here and there, and I got having kind of a routine of it. And then my grandpa that got me into guitar, he got sick. He got diagnosed with cancer, and that was an eye-opening experience in itself, because, and I want to say something. I don't throw that out there to be like, kind of like the guys that go on America's Got Talent, because they always have a sob story. It always bugs me, because it's like, come on, we only show the people that have the saddest stories, because they like just grab your heart and you're pulling for them. I get it. It's TV. It's, there's an equation to it, but like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I've had such a hard life that you guys need to root for me. You guys, there's nobody on the other side of this. I mean, I got, like I said, one subscriber, and it's my mom. Love you, Mom. But maybe someday somebody will watch this and this will go to somebody. But I'm not gonna pretend that I had that terrible upbringing and this is my coping mechanism or whatever. I mean, it can be when hard times come, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But that opened my eyes when he got sick. I got really, obviously, like anybody, I went through the whole stage in the process of understanding and or trying to understand and wrapping my head around it, and then it has this intense clerical effect on your own, and it causes you to be more introspective to yourself and what you're doing, and it like that phrase exactly, like, what am I doing, type of just going through your head all the time, because it's like life is short, and it occurs to you when stuff like that happens. And I think that's kind of the little, I use this very lightly, but it's kind of the little gift that is given from those hard times, is the clarity and the ability to see things from far different perspectives than you ever wanted to. But I started really thinking, like, what am I doing? I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to do all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm 18, and this part of my life I'm never going to have again. And I can't throw it away, and I don't see myself being very happy wasting this part of my life just trying to make money. It's a very shallow way to go through life. And I realized that very, very early. Usually I feel like people take a while to get to that conclusion, and so I'm very grateful for that. I'm lucky that I've been able to have the kind of mindset and the upbringing where people raised me to, my parents raised me to, I'm weird, dude. I'm really weird. To have that type of like inner reflection and be able to accept and understand, like, hey, maybe this isn't right for me. So that's, I really started clinging more to my music and really diving into it more. And the last thing that really just, drove the nail in the coffin, really got me, is I went and saw somebody play. His name is Dan Monet, and he's a big deal to me. I probably was just a little blip on the radar for him, but he's around Maslin and Canton. He's a recorder, and he actually opened a show for Springsteen in London, which I didn't find out until well after I met him. And I thought that I love Springsteen, top 3 ever of my favorites. Springsteen's in that, and I can't believe this guy opened for him. I had no idea. But he's got such a cool outlook on life, and he's a musician, like a career musician, but he doesn't necessarily go the regular route of trying to, get as big as possible and everything. He's more of helping people grow and helping people record and everything, and I think that's super cool. But his outlook on life is so different than what I was used to at the time. Going to college in the school business and trying to do all this stuff, that it's like I closed myself off to this whole other creative and free feeling side of life. And I I sat there and we talked for a good hour after he played, and I actually got to play a little bit. It was pretty cool. Um, and he said things that really stuck with me. And I went home and wrote a little, dinky song about it and sent it to him, and he thought it was pretty cool. And that was kind of his, like, hey, send me something and I'll let you know if it's good or not, because I struggle with overthinking, and I think he used the term imposter syndrome. um, I guess that's something that is a real issue that people deal with, and I look at the symptoms, and I can relate to far too many of them, but I don't really want to use that kind of as a crutch. As like, well, I got imposter syndrome, because no, I'm gonna try and fight it, and I'm gonna try and work over getting to be a better version of myself. But he talked to me my ear off for a long time, and that made me that was like God talking to me. Those chain of events, I truly believe they were in place because I was heading down a path that I wasn't going to be happy, and I was willing to listen and to experience those little kind of signals. And so now here I am, as the guy that told me I should be doing this, Gary from work. He always says, "Well, here we are," and I love that. Gary's such a cool guy, but he's here we are. I don't know what's gonna come of this. I don't know if I'll ever get anywhere more than making YouTube videos for my mom and playing little gigs around Maslin and Canton where I grew up, but I would sure love for something more to come out of it, and I'm gonna try like hell and do everything I can to try and get there one day. And there's a ceiling for me somewhere, and whenever I hit that, if I ever hit that, you never know. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything, but maybe someday I can be able to live my dreams and do the thing that makes me happy, and make other people happy through it, and live a really fulfilled and content life, and look back and have as little regret as possible, and just be able to say, hey, I'm proud of that. And that is kind of what led me here. This is me introducing myself in a 17-minute video of me talking a lot. If anybody does watch this that knows me, they'll know I talk a lot. But this is exciting. I'm really happy I'm doing this, and I hope someday I can make these videos for 2 people or 3. I don't want to get carried away, but that wraps it up. I'm going to be making more stuff like this. Probably I'll have a little better idea of knowing what I'm doing as I go on, and they'll probably get better in quality, and I won't be droning on and scatterbrained. I didn't really want to script it or anything, because I feel like everything now is all scripted, and it's like, especially YouTube videos. I watch a lot of YouTube videos myself, obviously, and I think most people, they have the equation set, they know what works, and they do that, and they're not themselves. And I kind of wanted to put a video up that's just me, raw, and see what came out of it as far as what I was thinking, because I think that you're going to get the best version of my thoughts, instead of if I tried to sit here and write the perfect thing to say, because that's not realistic. I don't say the perfect thing ever. Especially first time, but nobody does, and I don't want to be that person. That's the thing that scares me. If I ever do get big, I don't want to sell out. I don't want to be the person that just does what they have to do to get as many sales as possible. And I'm not saying I'm going to be like a selfish person that only writes for themselves and screw what everybody else thinks, because that's not realistic either. You gotta, half the fun is seeing other people enjoy something you created, and the little bit of a taste I've had of that, it's a high like nothing. Like, you just want to keep finding it, and that's half of it. But it's for those reasons, not for the I want to make as much money and sell out every show because I need to make that much money and I need to have this many followers and all that. Like, I don't care. I go look, if you're watching this right now, and probably within the next week of when it's posted, you'll look at my social medias and you'll be like, dude, this looks like a 40-year-old dude that doesn't know how to use it. I'm so bad at social media and online and everything. Like, technology I'm okay with, but for some reason social media I really struggle with. I'm trying to get better, but like I said, there'll be more. There'll be clips of shows. There'll be like, I guess, little vlog type things of different scenarios, different, like, before show, after show, different musical things. Maybe watch some of my, like, creative process, and that'll be good for me to watch back too. I can see kind of where I'm going in different directions and learn from myself, kind of like watching film. uh, yeah, I just equated that to watching film. I was not very athletic. I'm still not very athletic at all, so anybody that knows me, they'll understand that's silly, just silly. um, but yeah, I'm excited. I don't know what's gonna come out of it. That's the most exciting part of it all. We will we will see, and if anybody wants to come along for the ride, I'd love to have you, and I look forward to hopefully making people happy, and being able to just do everything I can to, at the end, make myself happy, and live a life I'm proud of. So, thank you for listening to my now 20-minute rant. If anybody makes it through this whole video, send me a text. I owe you a hug. But yeah, I mean, until the next time I get the time and the idea to sit down and do something, this was fun.